Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
Okay. This is the Washington State GOP, okay?
We do not want to be a democracy. Originally, congressmen were elected by a direct democracy, senators were elected by their state legislatures, and presidents are elected by the electoral college. We are devolving into a democracy because now congressmen and senators are elected by the same pool, a direct democracy. And with the national popular vote coming, we're going to be electing our president by a direct democracy too. Bad idea.
Bad idea. We are devolving into a democracy. We do not want to be a democracy. Okay. As Danny Westnate at the Seattle Times reported, delegates of the Washington State Republican Convention then stood up one by one to argue that the U.S. should repeal the 17th Amendment, which allows us to vote for our United States senators. After that resolution passed, they went bigger. They voted to put this language into their platform. Quote, "We encourage Republicans to substitute the words republic and republicanism where previously they have used the word democracy. Every time the word democracy is used favorably, it serves to promote the principles of the Democratic Party, the principles of which we ardently oppose." Quote, "We oppose legislation which makes our nation more democratic in nature." We oppose legislation which makes our nation more democratic in nature. So say Washington State Republicans, officially in writing in their party platform.
You okay?
I mean, the ultimate example of saying the quiet part out loud.
Right. It is unbelievable. So the article that she was referring to is a really good one. It's in today's homework if you need to, read it for yourself. But it is an unbelievable thing. And the reason why they don't want democracy to take hold, it's a devolution, according in their heads, to what the founders intended. I don't know. It's a devolution because Washington State and other states are now saying that this electoral college thing that we got going on here, we have ended up with a president who did not get the majority of the votes of the people, many, many, many times too many. And so there's this thing called the national popular vote now. It's sort of a compact between the states where whoever wins the most popular votes in all the states, not each state, but in all the states across the board, whoever wins the election, like a normal freaking place, you get the most votes, you become the president, right? So a lot of states are entering into this compact that says that whoever wins the election with the most votes gets our electoral votes, gets all our slate, gets all the electors on our slate. However many we have, like Florida, I think has 29 electors, like that. And so whoever wins the majority vote gets all the electors from any state at all that entered into this compact. This is freaking out the GOP. Do you know why? Because they never win the popular vote, because they never win. They're losers. They're losers who keep on losing, and they're sick of losing, so they would like to see the Electoral College pick the winner again, even after they lost the popular vote. That's what this is really about. Now, one of the jilted here was a Republican frontrunner for governor of the state of Washington. He's a former sheriff. I don't know him, but I'm sure people living in Washington State do. His name is Dave Reichart. And he said, quote, "The party's been taken hostage." This is a statement he gave to the Spokesman Review, the Seattle Spokesman Review. And he said, listen, we are the base of the Republican Party is now opposed to democracy. They wrote their platform. This was them crafting their platform. So after the candidates left, the convention's delegates got down to making this platform. And most GOP gatherings in the era of Donald, this one called for restrictions on voting. Now, Washington State has always been held up as like a beacon of democracy, making it easy, very easy for people to vote, right? You have all mail-in voting. And I remember when I first heard that, when I first found out that that was a thing and that was actually happening, It was many years ago. I was like, oh my God, really? Because we in Florida stand online, sometimes for 3 hours, sometimes for 4. Then I watched them try to vote in Georgia, right? I tried to watch them vote in Atlanta. They were online for 11 hours. And see, Curb Your Enthusiasm made a whole season about this. You can't give somebody online in the swampy heat in Georgia a bottle of water without violating the law. It's illegal. It's illegal. And so Washington State has been the envy of a lot of us on the east, on the eastern seaboard, who vote because the lines here are insane and unnecessary. So the GOP in Washington State would like to end your all mail-in voting, and instead they would like to have what Trump wants, which is 1 day only in-person voting with photo ID and paper ballots, with no use of tabulating machines or digital scanners to count. Everything must be hand counted, and it all has to be done on a day, 1 day, the Tuesday that the Constitution says is election day. That's it. That's all they want. And I mean, why would they need to cheat like this? Why would they make it harder to vote instead of easier to vote? Because they're losers. Why are they so incensed about this compact that several states are entering into that say whoever wins the national popular vote gets all of our electors, gets the entire slate? Right? We send, let's say the Democrat wins the popular vote nationwide, so we send our Democratic slate of electors to December 14th to be counted. And then you certify that on January 6th, right? These people are so beside themselves with the losing because they don't have any policies that anybody is into. They are very busy taking away people's rights. They are very busy canceling history classes. They're very busy telling us that we don't have a diverse electorate and we don't need to include diverse people who are in our electorate in anything we do. That's DEI, right? That's a bad thing. Being, inclusive of different kinds of people is somehow very, very bad. Very bad, and we must make it stop. And instead, we must turn to our legislatures and let them choose all of our representation. Let them choose our senators. Let them choose our House members, because it worked generally 110 years ago. This is their philosophy. This is what they want to do. Now, keep that thought in mind as I tell you the next thing. Okay, the next thing is. It has to do with what's influencing, all this hostility in the young culture, in the people. If you get your news from a traditional or mainstream source, meaning you watch the nightly news with Lester Holt, or you watch cable news, or you read newspapers for your news, Biden is the clear choice for anybody who gets their news that way. Trump is the clear choice for people who either have no news at all that they trust or watch or listen to or read, or people who only get news off of social media where there are no editors or fact checkers. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.